Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are breaking down a really systematic, step-by-step plan for completely transforming your health. Now, this isn't just some vague advice. It's a super detailed blueprint for making a real, lasting change. So, let's just dive right in.
I want to start with the number, 1,813,588. So what is that? Well, according to our source, that's how many people die in the United States every single year from just the top 10 deadliest diseases. It's a massive number, almost impossible to really wrap your head around.
So to put that into perspective, picture this. That's like having over 4,300 jumbo jets, fully loaded, crashing every year. Can you imagine? It would be the only thing on the news 24/7. That's the scale of the health crisis we're talking about. But here's the real kicker. The vast majority of these deaths, they're preventable. They're tied to our lifestyle. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to dig a little deeper into this health crisis and find the root cause. Then we'll get practical. We're talking about how to do your own personal health audit, a detailed 4-step detox plan, and then how to build habits that actually stick. And we'll finish up with a clear action plan to get you going.
Okay, so why is this happening? What's the deal? Well, the core argument here is that our whole approach to health is kind of backward. We spend so much time and energy treating symptoms. It's like putting a piece of tape over the check engine light in your car, instead of actually lifting the hood and fixing the problem.
And this slide just nails it with a perfect analogy. Look, if your car's tires keep wearing out on one side, you could just keep buying new tires, right? That's treating the symptom. But the real solution is to fix the car's alignment. That's the root cause. It's the exact same thing with our health. Just taking pills to manage symptoms without changing our lifestyle is like buying new tires for a misaligned car. You're never going to actually solve the problem.
And when you look for those root causes, our source says it really boils down to two main culprits. First is appetite. We're talking about consistently indulging our cravings for foods and habits that we know are destroying our health. And second, sedentarism, just a basic lack of consistent, meaningful movement in our daily lives. These are the alignment issues we need to fix.
So how do you start fixing your own personal alignment? Well, you can't create a roadmap if you don't know where you're starting from. This next step is all about doing a really thorough and, let's be honest, a brutally honest assessment of where you are right now. This is your baseline.
To build this personal history, you need to document everything, and I mean everything. Start with the basics, age, job, and a list of any health concerns you have. But then you got to get specific. Rate your pain levels from 0 to 10 for different parts of your body. Do the same thing for your stress and depression levels. And then track exactly what you eat and when, your exercise, how much water you drink, and your sleep. This creates a detailed map of your starting point.
And to get even more granular, the source recommends this, a 3-day food diary. For 3 days, write down every single thing you eat and drink. But don't just write what you ate. Write down the time, who you are with, and this is the most important part, why you were eating. Just look at this example. It starts to reveal your patterns almost immediately. The 10 a.m. snack with Sally, that's a habit. The 3 p.m. M&Ms, that's a trigger. You see the machine, you eat. This is how you find the exact behaviors you need to change.
Okay, so once you have your personal audit done, we move into the heart of the action plan. This is a progressive, 4-step program that's designed to detoxify your body, break those old patterns we just identified, and basically establish a brand new baseline for your health.
So here's how this 4-step detox works. Step 1 is a juice detox for 3 to 10 days. This just gives your digestive system a much-needed break. Then, for 3 to 7 days, you move to Step 2, Simply Raw, which starts reintroducing whole foods gently. Step 3, for 5 or more days, brings in simple cooked foods. And all of this is designed to slowly and progressively prepare your body for the final goal, Step 4, which is a sustainable, whole food, plant-based diet that you can stick with for life.
Now that detox plan is kind of like hitting the reset button, but long-term health isn't about a temporary fix, right? It's about the lifestyle you build afterward. So this next part is all about understanding why these choices matter so you can integrate these healthy habits into your life for good.
And to really get why this matters, check out this powerful demonstration. Imagine you took junk food, Dr. Pepper, Pringles, chocolate eclairs, and you ran it all through a juicer. What would happen? You'd get this thick sludge, and almost all of it would get absorbed. That's a perfect picture of how these refined, processed ingredients go straight into your bloodstream. The source calls this Twinkie blood, and argues that Twinkie blood leads to a Twinkie brain.
Now let's flip that, contrast it with whole foods. When you put things like kale, carrots, celery, and apples through that same juicer, you get this vibrant juice that's just packed with micronutrients. That's what gets absorbed into your blood, and all the fiber is separated out. The analogy is just as powerful. Whole food blood leads to a whole food brain. You literally get to choose what you build your blood and your brain out of.
And to really drive home the reason for a plant-based approach, the source highlights this pretty startling claim from Dr. T. Colin Campbell's research at Cornell. He says casein, which is the main protein in cow's milk, is the most significant chemical carcinogen ever discovered. Now that is a heavy statement, and it's a key part of the argument for avoiding animal products in this plant. So what does this new lifestyle look like on a daily basis? The source uses this really helpful acronym, New Start. N is for nutrition, that whole food plant-based diet. E is for exercise, 30 to 60 minutes a day. W is for water, and there's a simple formula. Take your body weight in pounds, divide by 2, and that's how many ounces you should drink. Then you've got S for sunshine, T for temperance, A for fresh air, and R for rest. And that last T stands for trust in God, which the source presents as a core foundation for strength on this journey. All right, we have covered a lot. We've talked about the why and the what. This last section is maybe the most important. It's all about the how. It's about taking all this knowledge and turning it into a concrete plan that you can actually start, like, tomorrow. So, here are the final keys to making this whole thing work for you. First, do not go it alone. Find a partner, a spouse, a friend, anyone, for support and accountability. Second, set a realistic start date. Don't decide you're going to start the day before a big holiday. Set yourself up for success. Third, you have to stay focused on your reason for doing this. And finally, evaluate and adjust. Pay attention to your weight, your pain levels, and just how you feel. And don't be afraid to tweak the plan so it works for you. At the end of the day, what this all shows us is that your health isn't really something that just happens to you. It's the result of 1,000 tiny choices that you make, day in and day out. This plan is a detailed blueprint for sure, but you're the one who has to pick up the tools and start building. So the only question left is, what are you going to choose to build?